Joining me now in the studio to try and tackle the ongoing issues in Syria is former Israeli ambassador to the United States and the founder of The Truth About Israel, Danny Ayalon. Thank you so much for coming in, Ambassador.
My pleasure, Aaron.
All right, so my first question is, when North Korea is sending chemical weapons to Syria and Iran and Turkey are joining forces in the region and strengthening their hold in the area, all despite numerous other countries, including Russia, the United States, Egypt, Jordan, from trying to set up peace talks, what conclusions are you drawing at this moment?
It's a game changer. Certainly we see a new landscape strategically. And it has begun 2 years ago when the Russians went full force into Syria, aided of course by the Iranians and Hezbollah and other Shia militias. After 2 years, I guess pretty much they declare victory. On the other hand, the United States is nowhere to be seen, and the US just I would say, gave up supporting the organizations, the militias that were in favor, that were pro-US and pro-Westerns. So the situation right now that Syria just lays prey for Iran, for Hezbollah, and of course the umbrella of Russian army.
So I mean, okay, this is clearly going against any notion that Syria has been free of chemical weapons for years and years and years, and that they've been abiding by certain international agreements. So in what way is the international community going to get involved? Are they going to get involved? Is this enough to put fire under them, or is that, Yeah,
well, at this point, I think it certainly points to the fact that you cannot believe anything in the region, not verbal commitments and not even written ones. Supposedly, the Syria got rid of all its chemical weapons stocks. Clearly, it's not the case. Not only that, they have been replenished through the aid of North Korea. North Korea has been a main supplier of technology and also of other type of unconventional weapons, including technology for delivery systems, also to Iran, not just to Syria. So certainly we see now a continued and even reinforced cooperation. Very bad news, and whether the UN or the international community can get involved, I'm not sure. Russia is there with boots on the ground, so pretty much it is the responsibility of the Russians now to make sure that no weapon unconventional gets into the wrong hands, including Assad's hands.
So you said two things that I wanted to touch upon. Number one, you said it was a game changer, which of course it is. And number two, you pointed out that the United States seems to be, laying down ahead of this and kind of allowing this to proceed, and not being the active force that we would have hoped to see in the region. So what can be done, and what fears should Israel be taking, if you would prioritize the issues that this brings up, how would Israel?
Well, first of all, Aaron, and you have showed here President Trump's speech re-Afghanistan. So certainly the United States have different priorities. North Korea, of course, Afghanistan. So the Middle East is at the bottom of the list, which means that we must get very, very firm understandings with Russia vis-a-vis the positioning of Hezbollah and Iran in Syria.
Is this to allow us to operate?
It's first of all, it's to create a buffer whereby the Iranians or Hezbollah cannot come to our borders on the Syrian side, on the other side of the Golan Heights. And secondly, which is not less important, is not to allow the Iranians to build weapon factories, not in Lebanon for Hezbollah and not in Syria for Assad. In that respect, I think we have to have a very, very clear red lines. This is a red line for us, and we will not allow it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ambassador Danny Ayalon. Thank you.
My pleasure.